Hello and welcome back to another Tuesday video of World Traveler Cooking. Today we're going to do fermented beets. Now, the reason we're going to do fermented beets is I've already done a Lithuanian borscht, and sometimes they add fermented beets to that, but I didn't have any. I am going to do fairly soon a Ukrainian borscht, and that one will also have pickled beets in it. In fact, that's a more important ingredient there, so we will do that. It's a little challenging to do in the tropics because temperatures are warmer. So I'm going to keep this in my air-conditioned office to ferment, and I may put it in the refrigerator overnight when I turn off the air conditioning. So our ingredients are very simple. We just have salt, beets, and water. I got these beets locally at the market here. They are local, and you can see from the leaves that they're fresh and in good shape. That's all very important. This is going to be a real fast video, but keep in mind this takes time to make. I would say give it 1 to 2 weeks. And keep in mind that fermenting vegetables is a very common way of preserving them. So you can do this with beets, you can do it with cabbage, you get sauerkraut. You can do it with pickles. You get Sauergurken in German, or I forget what they're called exactly in Swedish. But you know, fermented pickles, fermented cucumbers are another thing that are often done. You can add carrots, other vegetables. People pickle all kinds of things this way. So we're going to do this. I have tried it with radishes with not very good results. But as we'll see with borscht, when we get to that, it's actually kind of an, there's an important history here, and fermented vegetable soups are actually very common in Eastern Europe. So, interestingly enough, those seem to have originally come out of Siberia, spread westward, reached the areas which are now Ukraine and Poland, and in that area you seem to get beets added first, but also you see a soup made from fermented rye. It then spreads out again, and so you get different flavors of these sorts of fermented soups. But the original versions from Siberia did not have beets in them. So. At any rate, let's get started. I'm going to peel and dice these into approximate 1 centimeter cubes, and then we will get started making our brine. So first, just to show you, these are the pieces of the beet. Next, I'm going to add about 30 grams, that's about 2 tablespoons, of salt to this water. I have 2 cups, approximately 500 milligrams of water. And so we're just going to measure out 30 grams of salt. Well, that's a little more, but that should be okay. And then we just stir until it's all dissolved. So it can take a couple minutes, but it should all dissolve. If not, you can heat it a little bit, but salt doesn't dissolve a lot more just because it gets warmer. So just keep stirring for a little bit, and it will all dissolve. You'll get something like this. This looks pretty well dissolved. And then we will pour this to cover our beets. Or to nearly cover them. We can then add a little more. And now we need to create a seal to keep these under water. So I'm going to use some plastic wrap for that. So you can see here our seal, and I lost the clip of actually making it. But basically it's plastic wrap that's been put inside the jar, up on just barely on top of the liquid there. So then I'm going to take just a little bit of our liquid here. I'm going to pour a little bit on each seal, and that's going to provide a little more weight to hold everything down. And here we are. Now I can lightly close this. Don't fully close it because you will get gas building up. But I'm going to lightly close it to reduce evaporation. And then we'll put this in a cool location. And I'll come back and check on it in about 3 or 4 days. So now it's been a week and a half. You can see sediment building up. This is from the culture, and because it's in the tropics, I did add a little bit of culture. I used some fermented rye that also led to a little bit of kahm yeast on the top. But the bubbling stopped, and this looks pretty stable. So I'm going to open it, and I'm just going to spoon out a few of these beets onto the plate. And look at those. So this is what we're going to try. And I'm also going to taste a little bit of the brine. The brine is really important here because this is what we flavor borscht with. The brine is very, very sour. It's very delicious. So we're going to try these on a taste test, and away we'll go. And now for the taste test. So, I've eaten pickled beets before. This is definitely something that tastes a bit different. It's very pleasant. The beets are crunchy, sour, salty. I think those are very, very nice. And again, they're a key ingredient for borscht type soups across Eastern Europe. Now, if you find this content interesting, please like, share, and subscribe. It's free to do, helps this channel grow, and it helps make sure that you will see more of my content. So you'll get to see when, for example, I do the Ukrainian borscht in a couple of weeks. In addition, if you make a dish like this and you do it differently, I'd love to hear how. I didn't add any spices this time because I want to primarily use the broth, or the brine for borscht, and I didn't want to interfere with the flavoring there in any way. But you could add spices. I'd love to hear how you like to spice it if you do it. Anyway, recipes in the description. Bon appetit, and see you next week.